And here we are back with another one, and today with the UGOOS X4Q, which is the new model. It's an improved model from the family X4. Now it has an extra letter and a few extra improvements, and I will share all of them with you, or almost all of them. Some of them will be down below on the link that I will leave on the description as well. Now this model right over here is the X4Q Pro. There's also two other models from the same family, the Cube and the Plus, which are different in terms of RAM and storage. Being the Cube, 2 GB of RAM and 16 of storage. The Pro, which is the model that I've got right over here, 4 GB of RAM and 32 of storage. And then the Plus with 464. You can check down below the price difference from each model and then decide which one is suitable for you. Now I'll leave down below as well if you are looking for your Windows 10 computer or Windows 11 computer upgrade. Don't forget to check out KeysFan, which is a platform that we have been using for the past few months. Easy to purchase, easy to activate, and with the coupon code you will get an extra discount, so just in case you want to check that out. Now in terms of the X4Q, this has the new improved CPU from Logic. We are talking about the S905 X4, 4 GB of RAM and 32 GB of storage. Has some improvements in terms of the enclosure, in terms of the inside, the setup as the board it is, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and remote. Now the remote included, it's a Bluetooth remote, which is great. In my opinion, it's a touch that it's necessary on any Android TV box, but unfortunately not all of them provide, and then we need to spend extra money on expensive remotes to get the best experience possible, which doesn't happen here with the X4Q. Now this remote, it's very simple, very easy to use. It has a function that to me is crucial, which is the Air Mouse, especially because we will be using some applications that are designed for the mobile world, and we don't have a finger that can touch our TV, so we will need the remote to do that, and this is exactly what this remote can achieve. There are some apps like IPTV where I want to change channels and things like that, and I will have a great experience with this remote just because Bluetooth. It also has voice assistant for Google. Now personally, I don't use it that much, but if you are looking for a solution that has everything Bluetooth and then voice assistant, this one also has. In terms of the box itself, it has a USB Type-C, HDMI 2.0 with 4K 60Hz 10-bit, one USB 3.0, one USB 2.0, optical out, and Ethernet gigabit connection. In terms of the launchers, it comes with two launchers. The default launcher, which is the UGOOS launcher, and in my opinion the one that I would use using this particular case right over here. And then it also comes with a second launcher, which is a more TV launcher like. And although it's just fine if you want to use that launcher, there are several other launchers, so I would suggest if you get this box, explore the Play Store, search for launcher, and you will have a lot of options. Now once again, I would use the UGOOS launcher because it's a clean launcher. I can change the wallpaper, I can change a lot and leave it with this clean look. And in terms of the advantages that we have been seeing for the past few years with UGOOS launcher and firmware is that it has a lot of possibilities. Now in this particular case, it has, for example, advantages in terms of the panels and interface where we can customize everything. We can even add some touches like data of utilization, like the CPU, the RAM that it's being used, the temperature, the resolution, how the machine is behaving. Now if we want to do a virtual server, it's already embedded here on the machine, so we just need to turn it on or off and we will have a virtual server. Now I just need to plug in a USB external drive and I can send files remotely to any device, mobile phones, computers and whatnot. So the possibilities are quite huge and it's everything built in, so the final user does not have to spend time searching and messing around with it. It's just a press of a button, and this is one of the advantages of the X4Q. Performance wise, so that we have an idea and compare with other devices, I did test it out on Geekbench. We got scores that we are used to see on the Logic S905 X4. 150 on single core score and 550 on multi-core score, 3D Mark with 180, Wi-Fi with 300 megabits per second downloads and 150 megabits on uploads. And then on the storage side, we have 600 megabytes per second on reads and 60 megabytes per second on writes. And for those of you that wonder, hey Robert, only 60? Yeah, we have seen a lot of these devices, and 60, it's actually a high number. But nonetheless, 600 is more interesting, and that is the one that we will be using more times. When we open any app, we will access to the read speed. So this is one of the things that we do notice when we turn on the box, we start installing apps and then messing around, opening and closing apps, and we do notice that it's really fast. So I just wanted to see the number, but it's quite fast, as we can see. Now, all these are benchmarks and things like that, which at the end of the day help us to make a decision, but I did test it out in some real world examples. And if you are getting one of these to watch your multimedia content, movies, series, and so on and so forth, you will be more than fine. I did test it out with Wi-Fi. Now, I do have a strong connection, so just have that in mind. If you don't, please use the Ethernet connection, which will give you everything that you will need. But playing Blu-rays, MKV files at 1080 resolution, H.264 and H.265, no issues whatsoever. And these are huge files, so no problems whatsoever here. I also played 4K without any issues, 10-bit, and great results. So this is one of the factors that we might want this. Any software that we decide to install later on, we can play natively or from a server without problems whatsoever. Now, another case use that we give is IPTV. I use one of the services that we have here in Portugal, which is Novo TV, one of the best apps that we have. And I did test out the two versions of the app. Now, the first one is directed at mobile phones, and I did use the function of the remote control, which is the air mouse, so that I can change the channels and I can mimic my finger touching the screen of the TV in this particular case. And as you can see, this is one particular usage that the Bluetooth remote control is very useful right over here. So great that UGOOS includes one in this package. So the experience was really, really nice. I also installed Novo TV, the Android TV version, and it works great right over here. So I do imagine that if you have an IPTV service such as this, and if you have two versions of the app, then probably the best scenario is to install the Android TV version, because we just need the directional buttons like any other normal TV, and we do have everything just on our fingertips, which is great, and the experience was awesome. Now, I also played some games so that I could test out the compatibility of the box. I did play Tanks and did play two versions of Asphalt, and it works really nice. I did connect a gamepad, played with the gamepad. I did connect keyboard and mouse and play with keyboard and mouse. So depending on the game that you want to use, either gamepad or keyboard or whatever we want, or a mouse, then we can. Even those kind of games that I didn't play this time, Clash of Clans and things like that, we can play with a mouse like we would be on a computer. So this is it in terms of the testings. It passed everything. I forgot to mention the Mirrorcast. It also has, of course, Mirrorcast or Chromecast as you want. We can mirror our phone to the screen, share photos, share whatever we want without giving the phone to anyone, and just have it on the TV. And this was the last test that I did. Worked really awesome. That being said, guys, I will leave a link down below so that you guys can check out the new X4Q. If the video was helpful, don't forget that thumbs up right over there, which is really appreciated on this side of the screen. My name is Roberto, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.